We're trying again. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I should, I have very good internet here. Hello, everybody. Try it again. I keep trying. I changed the browser. I went from Firefox back to Chrome. So I don't know. Google owns Chrome. YouTube, Google owns YouTube and Chrome. So maybe it'll work with Chrome. I don't know. The router is like about 5 feet away from me, and I'm getting excellent internet today. I have no problem with anything. I'm uploading and downloading super duper fast. So I don't know. Maybe this will do it. All right, everybody, we're back again. Anyway, it's only 3:08. We're only a few minutes late. We're doing Dave Hughes with the news and views. Today we're going to be talking about 10 things that will be going away very soon. Okay, like landline telephones, typewriters have already gone away, like banks that you can walk into, bank tellers, that kind of thing. Anyway, pay your taxes, Bubba. I don't know. What the heck? I do see that a lot on YouTube, where you see somebody trying to do a live stream, and sometimes they'll do 5 or 6 different tries before it goes through. So we'll cross our fingers here. We're in an apartment complex here, so there's a lot of Wi-Fi signals bouncing off everybody, and who knows what's going on. So anyway. Yeah, Dave Hughes. There's Cringy. Cringy's here. Cringy decided to stop by here. Cratchy's still hanging out with Seymour somewhere. I don't know where. Anyway, I am here in Manassas today doing my okay, and the joy with using the Chrome browser, of course, with YouTube is that the chat keeps going out. The chat comments just keep vanishing away. So if there's if it's not one thing, there's another, right? I don't know. So anyway, who's watching Tanky Poo? Tanky Poo is back in Springfield, and his owner is watching him. So which is okay, but she can't do a lot of walking. She's got kind of a bum knee. So poor Tank is not getting the exercise he should be getting. I went and stopped by there today. I picked up my mail, and I got some really cool things in the mail today, including a letter from someone who watches me at the South Pole. Check out today's video for that. And also got the nice little knifey thing there from as a present there from Blind Views. So that was really cool. So check that out. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today are 10 things that will not be around for very much longer, okay? And that was suggested by my doxinator. He said, instead of just doing these live chats, have a topic, okay? And that'll attract people, that'll bring people in. So, and we also want to talk about the regular news of the world today. Donald Trump, President Trump battling there with his lawyer. Apparently the lawyer has kind of turned on him, and things are going badly for Mr. Trump. His daughter, Ivanka, is that her name? She's shutting down her clothing line. So a bunch of crazy things going on there. Yes, we're live, Kentucky Ranger. The phone. I'm not going to do the phone right now. I can't. It's that the phone is out of battery. So I did not plan ahead, Craig, but I got everything going. So I think we're okay right here. Although if Craig wants to send me some messages on Messenger, I've got that fired up. So go ahead and send me private messages like I will probably disappear in most of your lifetimes, Bubba Warbucks. What do you mean by that? Did the video feed stop again? Are we still having problems? I don't know. It's maybe just a bad time to do this. Alex Tucker, Bubba Warbucks, Princess Bubbles, Kentucky Ranger, Gus Avocados thinks what will disappear. Shopping malls will be killed by Amazon drones, and Democratic Party in the U.S. for sure. So, I don't know. I don't see either party disappearing anytime soon. Things just kind of flash back and forth. Bubba Warbucks, we're fine now. Good, no problem here. Thank you. Video is fine. So I switched browsers. I guess the chat thing doesn't like Firefox. The Arctic ice, yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. People keep bitching about global warming. What's the cause, I guess? I don't know. I just think that's silly. I think it's fairly obvious, for the Earth does have various changes in climate that just happen naturally but it usually happens over thousands of years. For climates to start changing like every 10 years and stuff, and it's got to be, with all the junk we're putting into the atmosphere, it's changing the climates very quickly. And I don't care what people say, they want to deny that or not. I think it's very true. I think that mankind and our industrialization of this planet is having a lot to do with the changing of the climates and global warming. I think that is just plain obvious, So I don't know. I don't understand why people argue with that. It doesn't make any sense, because all the evidence shows that, the global ice caps are breaking apart, and we're having, I don't know, people say, we can't judge anything about global warming by our various climates, but, they look at the climates everywhere and everything's inching up temperature wise. So, it's fairly obvious. Hey, Huggles Cake. With Big Brother, personal freedom. Right, you're very right. What's going away in the future or in the near future is definitely, it's already gone. Okay, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about going away is already gone. I only use Opera. Yeah, I've tried Opera. I don't know. I have no problem with Firefox or Chrome. It just seems like when I'm doing a chat, Chrome works better. I don't know. Mark Van Jones, time to drive home and check you later. All right. The self-driving cars that you drive yourself. Cars that you actually sit behind the wheel and drive. That's apparently going away. Pretty soon you'll get in your car and just say, I want to go to the Walmart in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and it will just take you there. I don't think that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. They say people have a certain there is a certain sense of control, you have driving to the store, the car will drive itself. I think that's a little weird. I don't know. That's going to really be, for a lot of us, I think, just to be, it's going to be like getting in like a roller coaster car and then just saying, take me somewhere. I don't know. I have to peel potatoes now. That's what's going away. Nobody in the future is going to be peeling potatoes, Janice. Change is inevitable. The climates always change. They always do. The Earth is like that. But when you see these changes coming so rapidly, in 10 years, sudden changes like that, I think you have to say that's more than just a natural change, Will VH tapes be gone? It is funny to see how these old technologies are coming back. Records, vinyl records are coming back. You go into Best Buy now, they got rid of all the CDs, but they still have vinyl records. That's kind of weird. I've even heard of cassettes coming back. People, they just love those old cassettes, that used to jam up and the sound was crappy on them. Please hit the like or dislike button. Oh, or dislike. Why don't you just say, please hit the like button, Time Chaser? Oh, or the dislike button. It doesn't really matter. I'm very excited to hang out in my back seat while the car drives me home. Yeah, just sit there and go to sleep, right? Just go in the back seat, put up a pillow, or in the front seat, put your seat back, and go to sleep, and the car will just drive you home. Or some Russian hacker will get into your car and drive you somewhere. That's going to be definitely what's going to happen. That's coming, right? Any kind of these automated cars, someone's going to hack into them and then take you on a crazed joyride through the city, and you're going to be like, and the doors will all lock and you can't get out. That's going to happen. I don't know, man. I'm all for, I guess, to some degree, having cars that are automated like that. But, that scares me, to give up too much control. I don't know. Microclimates from air conditioning, huh? A&A RV travels. So like some city could put giant air conditioners all around and then cool the city down. You interrupted my listening to your interview, Dave, 3 times. What? Tatum Bar. He who controls the weather controls the world. Very good. I think that came from, wasn't that from a James Bond movie or something? No more woo. A world, to be honest with you, one of the things that could easily go away, and we all don't even think about it, is YouTube. I mean, seriously, with all the media mergers that are happening lately, it is very, it is not inconceivable that Google and Alphabet, whoever that owns them now, could just take YouTube and turn it into something else or sell it. I mean, I don't think YouTube makes a ton of money for Google. I mean, I don't know, turn it into a Netflix too, or turn it into, it's already, that YouTube Red is already, they're trying to do that with that. They've already got YouTube Television, which is a whole bunch of cable channels. So YouTube is transforming itself as we speak into something else. That is a distinct possibility that in another couple of years, maybe they'll just say all the channels that have under 1 million subs are gone. We only want channels that are, that reach out and affect the public, in a large way. So they could just say, everybody if you don't have 1 million subs, your channel is gone. Goodbye, good night, have a nice day. I mean, they could theoretically do that. People would scream bloody murder, but they certainly could do that. But that's a possibility. But changes, I think, huge changes. There are internet sites that were huge back in the late 1990s and 2000, early 2000s that are completely gone now. So, YouTube is not a foregone conclusion, I wouldn't think. I think broadcast television, stuff where you get free television by sticking an antenna up in the air, I think that could very easily go away in another 10 years or so. With spectrum, all the spectrum would be turned into for cell phones and for 6G and 7G and whatever. And you could still watch television, but you'd have to pay for it, everything. Even there wouldn't be no local free television anymore. But it would come to you on the internet through a cell connection or something like a supercell. And I think, the old days of just putting up an antenna and getting signals, I think that could very well change. Radio will probably be here a little longer, but television is already digitized, and they're going to some new system called ADSC3. And so that could all change very much. Wrong way, Markham. What do you think about CB radios, Dave? I was surprised. I was very surprised that CB radios even still exist. They still are around. You can still buy one. I was watching Pandemonium's Aja there the other day, and she's buying a CB radio. Well, if you're a truck driver and you're looking for some lot lizards, I think that's how you contact them, right? Does anyone use HookTube? Becky Green, I've never heard of HookTube. What is that? HookTube. Sounds like something for fishermen. You hook your line. Pennies are going to go away, right? That could very well. A lot of countries now, they were saying in a lot of countries they don't use currency anymore. Everybody has a card. You have a little pay card. You have a bank account that's hooked to a card. Nobody uses currency, dollars, pennies, coins. That could very easily go away very soon. The whole dollar bill. I could see that as a very distinct possibility. Yeah, broadcast television is on the down. I think so. I really think that, the government is thinking about using that spectrum for other things. And there's certainly other ways to get television. Many people are watching television that isn't broadcast to them. It's either coming in on a cable or it's coming in on the internet. Local news will always be needed. Yeah, I don't think local news will go away, but it's not going to be delivered to you over the air. Now, newspapers are already pretty much gone. They're just, there are a few papers still left, and some of them are being subsidized by the fine folks at Amazon like Jeffrey Bezos. But print papers, yeah, I think they're on their last legs for sure. Definitely. Hey, Dave, eating lunch and listening. Hi, Sting75. How are you doing? Gus Avocados. Clean drinking water will disappear. I hope not. That's not a good thing. Oh, my word. 8-track is coming back. Kentucky Ranger. Well, I think as a niche-y kind of fun thing, I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like all those things kind of come back. If cassettes can come back and vinyl records can come back, why not 8-tracks, right? I love that when you'd be listening to a song and then it would fade down and then you hear the track click, go to the next track, and then it'd fade back up. That was such a wonderful memory of my youth. Wrong way, Markham. A lot lizard about right. That's my hobby. They call me the one and only wrong way. What's up, Cool Dave? Hi, Greg Hall. How are you? I got to go down. One of these, when I do finally get down to South Carolina, I got to look at Craig. I got to look at Greg, Craig and Greg and Craig and Greg and Ruthie and Tony. Everybody's in South Carolina. Bubba, if you have a well on your property, you will be taxed for it. What? Gender will disappear. That's an interesting one, Cat Kankin. Holy cow! We'll all become a genderless society. Everyone will just be. That would be interesting. Or everyone would just be the same gender, just one gender. I don't know. That would be really weird. I can see some sci-fi plots for that. I think that would be really weird. Gender will disappear for our grandchildren, and who will be all transgender. Maybe they'll have a ceremony. You're born as a transgender, and then by the time you turn 10, you have to pick one or the other, but it's your choice. They'll have a little ceremony, at age 10 or maybe 15, maybe you experiment with both genders up to you're 15 or something, and then you go to the government and declare your gender, and then they do something to you to make you a man or a woman, but it's something you select that's not selected for you. I mean, again, more science fiction movies there, huh? The patriarchy, huh? Maybe there probably already is something like that. You always think we got an idea here and somebody else has already covered it. Oh, wow. So let's see some of the other things that will disappear according to this article that I saw. Let's see. What's going to disappear? The check, right? I mean, who writes checks anymore? Most of us don't even write checks anymore. The post office will disappear. Well, they keep saying that, but I go down to the post office every couple of days to check my mailbox, and I see a lot of people standing in line there. So there's still a lot of people that mail things. The newspaper, yeah, that's pretty much gone. Although, they're still around. The book, the printed book. Yeah, I think in the long run, that is probably going away, but it's still the concept of a book will still be here. It'll just be electronic, right? The landline telephone, yeah, that's much foregone. They're going to just discontinue that in another couple of years, that's for sure. The music industry, being controlled by corporations, that's going away. Network television, which I declare as broadcast television, that's going away. But I still, as far as traditional networks, we're going to have everybody just kind of pay-per-views whatever they want, and you pay for everything. Personal files, interesting. Having your own, who has a CD collection or a record collection or a book collection or a DVD collection, that's all going away because now all your media will come in on online. So if you want to read a book, you download, no, you don't own anything anymore. You will just rent things, so to speak. So you want to read a book, it'll come up on your Kindle. If you want to listen to a record album or an album, it'll just come up. You pay for it, you'll get it for however long. But yeah, owning things, physically owning physical copies of things. Privacy is going away. The fax machine, that's already pretty much gone. So those are a few of the suggestions there. Ann Montgomery, I write checks. I still have a checkbook, and I do maybe write 2 or 3 or 4 checks a year. Every now and then I find the need to write a check, but I could probably very easily just throw the checkbook away. If gender disappears, how will people have children? I don't think gender is going to disappear. I can't imagine everybody being neutered, so to speak. I think, but there may be a day where people can choose their own gender. Like I said, that somehow there's a way where at 15, you have the coming out ceremony and decide your own gender, and they have a party for you, but, I don't know, but I can't see a genderless society. That would be weird. That would be really all TV network will come from together to form one. Yeah, it's already happening pretty much. The TV networks, there's, even though you look at cable and there's 300 or 400 channels, they're all owned by 3 or 4 companies, and we're already there. We're already there. And you look at the major networks now and you can't even distinguish among them, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. It's all the same pablum, It's so cheap to have a landline. Around here, landline is $10 a month. That wasn't true for me. I kept the landline until I moved out of my condo last year, and my landline ran me close to $45 a month, and I'm paying less than that for my cell phone. The need to own a car will go away for many. I think you're right. If we're having autonomous vehicles that drive themselves, why do you even need a car? You could just, go on your little app and say, I need transportation from here to the Walmart at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. And this little automated vehicle will pull up in your driveway and you get in and it will take you there. And it hits your credit card for the charge. So you won't even need a car. If everything is automated like that, or you just have all these automated vehicles going all over, taking people where they need to go, why would you need to own anything? That's very true. I think that could people can choose their gender now. Well, they theoretically can, I guess, but speaking of gender and the SJW LGBTQ community, I heard on the news the other day that they're pushing hard to get no, Kentucky Ranger. That's not right. No. I'm not going to get into that. I do not want to mention that because I'm going to get demonetized. But no, I think you're wrong. Bye-bye Camo Dave show. What? Oh, the Camo Dave show will go away. Goodbye, Camo Dave. Oh, does that mean Camo Dave? Does that mean Craig is going bye-bye? I can't tell. See, Craig's he's saying goodbye to the Camo Dave show. Does that mean he's going away? Craig is going away? Maybe Craig is going away. CC1, bye. My landline is $60 unlimited. Yeah. It's funny when you get a landline too. Look at all those taxes and crap that's on it. You look at those bills. I mean, there must be about 10 different stupid little charges they add to your bill. The so-and-so access fee and this and that and then this, that, and the dial tone fee. And I don't know, your actual bill is probably like $20 and then there's about $30 worth of extra charges on it, which I don't see on a cell phone bill. I really don't. You don't pay all those goofy numbers on a cell phone bill. I once got a phone bill from Verizon and it had something like a $10, what was it called? Underutilization fee. And I did not understand that. And I called up and I asked what that was. And they said, oh, well, we project how much calls we're going to get on our lines. And we got 10% fewer calls from everybody. It wasn't just me. So we decided to charge all our customers an extra $10 because the system was being utilized. And that seemed like insane. So it's like the company made less money because fewer people were making landline calls. So they're charging everybody $10 more to pay for that difference. And I go, there's something wrong with that. A lot of times when something makes you go, WTF is going on, it means you should double check to make sure it's true. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Yeah. The other thing, I guess, that's gone away, if it has going away, is unbiased news. I don't think we can get that. I really don't think there's anyone out there. If there ever was, I don't think there ever was truly unbiased news around. But I think there's less and less of it now. I think when you look. No matter what you're getting it on, you get your news on Facebook, on the radio, or on TV, or on the internet. Most of us are getting now our news on phones and stuff like that. And I think it's all biased. I think there's a political group behind it, or something like that. Or what Facebook does is it analyzes. They have algorithms and they analyze where you are on the political spectrum, and then they feed you news that matches what you tend to like. So if they can analyze your posts and pretty much say tell where your politics stand on things, and then you get news, you get fed news that matches what you believe, and then it just reinforces you. So you're not really getting any different feelings or anything. And that's not really news anymore. It's more like propaganda. Dave, I check my mail every day for the kayak. I'm going to send a kayak to Caravan Carolyn, the Bubba and Bozo show. Oh, yeah. Casey doesn't have to do super chats to make it. Princess Bubbles, I found what Kentucky Ranger is talking about. The story was on CBN about something a German medical student said. Okay, well, then it must be totally trustworthy then, right? Believe it, yeah. And that's the truth. The other thing that happens too, it's like the telephone effect. You know, with that game Telephone, where you have a circle full of people and somebody will say something and repeat, and it gets repeated 10, 15 times. And then when it comes back to the original sender, it's totally convoluted. And that's what happens a lot with news today. You know, somebody will make up something, and then it gets repeated so many times, hundreds of times, resent, reconfigured, people pick it up and redo it. And by the time it's like, yeah, and it becomes something nutty, you know. It's like Hillary Clinton, you know, in that ping pong pizza place up in Northwest DC, and some crazy man that actually thought that was going on, you know, and it was absolutely absurd, but yet people really believed it, you know, and it's crazy. People need to wait. No, I think Kentucky Ranger, I think you're a perfect example of, you know, how do you know what's true when you read stuff on the internet? You know, I mean, how do you know it? I mean, you know, I see a lot of crazy stuff on there. Drudge has a lot of crazy stuff on there, and it's entertaining, but a lot of times, you know, it's so bizarre that you kind of like, and I'm almost afraid to click on a lot of it because you don't know the veracity or the safety of some of those websites. But, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff, and, you know, it gets people talking, and again, they pass, oh, did you hear that? Did you? If it's on Drudge, it must be true. Well, all Drudge is what they call an acclimator. What do they call it? He puts things together, right? He doesn't even do his own news. He just links to things, and there's some crazy German newspaper or some funny British tabloid or some political group claims something, you know, and you can basically just, you know, fake news, you know. Judy Parsons, anything can be Googled. No matter what you Google, you will find some site saying it's true. What is needed is actual critical thinking. It's very true. You know, I mean, I could say Donald Trump is an alien, right? And I could Google that, and I will get articles about people guessing that how Donald Trump is an alien. I mean, an alien from space, not from Mexico. But I'm just saying, you can Google anything, you know. Are canine dogs, are they smarter than human beings? You know, somebody's got to say yes, they're actually much more developed than we are, and they keep quiet and just observe us. I mean, no matter what you think, some news organization, somebody's got an article on it, you know. Do beards make people a certain way? Well, an aggregator. That's right. I'm looking at all these aggregators, and everybody's an aggregator. You know, even on like websites. I mean, I look at the Washington Post, and they're taking a lot of their news on that page comes from other places. You know, so yeah, you know. So anyway, what is going away? Well, we could say here's an interesting article from the Business Day today in the New York Times. Those are guns, and they're being melted down for steel. So you know, I don't know. Could firearms, could personal weapons someday go away? I mean, in a lot of countries, in a lot of civilized countries around the world, you know, it's illegal to own a gun, or it's very, very hard to own a gun. You know, the gun rules are much tougher in Canada. I mean, you go to Europe, same thing. Could things change here in America? I don't see that happening anytime soon, with Donald Trump as president, but I don't know. When you see so many of these things like the Los Angeles shooting there at the Trader Joe's, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, and they're saying that was that lady that died, the manager there at the Trader Joe's, was killed by a police officer's bullet. I don't know. It's scary. It's scary to think you're just going to the grocery store and there might be a gun battle there. I don't know. In a civilized society, we have to do something to make it safe so we can go to the grocery store, or go to school. I remember when I was in school, we nobody ever worried about some stranger coming in and shooting up the school. I mean, that was just, we worried about, the exam, we worried about homework. We worried maybe about a bully down the hall, but we never worried about some other kid or somebody would come into school with a gun and start killing people. That is just, it's sick and it's sad that our kids today have to even deal with that, So I don't know, that could be something that maybe somewhere down the line, I don't know about America because we're still a different kind of country than a lot of other countries, but personal ownership of firearms in a lot of places is something that is definitely going away. Stephen Phillips, my weapons are not going away. Well, you sound like a typical American there, I don't know, man. Addresses out. There's an interesting thought there, Craig. Yeah, are we going to have more and more people living as nomadic? I mean, if you can't afford a house, if you can't afford a condo, if you can't afford even an apartment, where are you going to live? Are you going to just live in a vehicle? It's less expensive, and just having a permanent address, or I mean, that could go away someday for a lot of people. I don't think it's going to go away for everybody. Betty Smith, weapons are only going to increase. We can't even ban any of them, even if a whole bunch of kids die. Well, I think, looking at the way the United States is and looking at the protections of the Constitution, I think you're very right, Betty. Free YouTube will go away. Yeah, I think free everything can go. I think free television is almost completely gone. I think we're certainly a lot of news sources now on the internet, like major newspapers like the Post and the New York Times, all charge for their sites. So I think a lot of free things that we get now, that we radio, television, that kind of thing, websites. I think a lot of those are going to go away, but there'll always be some that'll be supported by advertising. What the thing I didn't like about cable? It's like, it's one thing to pay for a TV service, but it's another thing to pay for a TV service that is shoving a gazillion ads down my throat. I always thought that really sucked. I don't mind paying for HBO because there's no ads on it, and that's how they get their revenue. But I always hated paying for these cable networks like TBS and USA, and then to see the channels would have 40 minutes of, they would have like 35 minutes of programming every hour, and the other 25 were ads. And they were really irritating ads. And there would be like 10 ad breaks an hour. And I'm going, why am I paying for this channel just to see a bunch of ads? I hated that. If you're going to do, I don't know, if you're going to do ads, don't charge for your service. But to try to get double dip revenue like that really bothered me. No more free ketchup. No more free ketchup in the McDonald's. You go to McDonald's and they'll charge you you want some ketchup? That'll be $0.25, please. Here's one packet. I like them. I like these stores now. Like, I think some of the KFCs, I noticed Wendy's does this, no more free refills, right? You want a drink? They give you a drink. Here's your medium drink. And then, if you want a refill, you can either if the clerk up there will be nice and give you one refill, or pay for it, right? I remember when I was at McDonald's, I ordered one of their salads, and they gave me a little skimpy dressing packet, okay, and it didn't even cover the salad. It was so I actually went up to the cashier and I said, "Can I have another packet, the salad dressing packet?" And she said, yes, that'll be 29 cents. And I actually had to count out 29 cents, and then I had to go back to my table and wait for somebody to bring me the packet. And I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? I have never, ever, ever ordered a salad again from McDonald's and probably never will, because I thought that was just tacky. I don't know where you order a salad, you order a salad and you pay for it and you want a little extra dressing. That's just complimentary, Camo pants will be a thing of the past. Carl, no, I don't think so. I see a lot of folks still wearing them, man. Mary Max Katz. When I was in high school, guys had their guns mounted in the back truck window. Trucks sitting there with the windows down. No one ever shot anyone. People don't lock doors and nothing was stolen. Yeah, I don't know. America's been a gun culture for many years, and why are things so much more violent now? I don't know. I think part of it has to do with the fact that the media is out there, and we have this instant media, and it just reports everything. And I think a lot of people do these crimes just so they can get mentioned on the media. You're a nobody. And then all of a sudden you walk into a Wendy's and shoot it up. And then all of a sudden overnight you are now plastered on the front story of all the newscasts, and there's something wrong with that too. Even though I'm a free press person, I think there's something wrong with doing something, encouraging people in a sense to do horrible things like that just to get on the news. There we go. What's going away? Plastic straws are going away. That's right. A number of companies now are coming out with these paper straws. I think I remember as a kid, weren't straws originally paper? I seem to remember back when I was a very wee tyke, you get a straw, it was kind of like a cardboardy paper thing, and then it turned into plastic because they were kind of easier to produce that way. But yeah, I think straws at one point were actually paper, and they're going back to that. Interesting, huh? And it's true, you use a straw once for maybe 10 or 15 minutes and you throw it in the garbage, and then how long does it take for that straw to decompose? Hundreds of years, Paper versus plastic. Well, that's true too. I think plastic bags are probably going to go away too. I think plastic bags will go away. You're already seeing that in a lot of places now. A lot of stores just, go Whole Foods now, and they'll try. A lot of stores, a lot of localities now make you pay for plastic bags. So I think that's very true. I think yeah. Same thing with bags. I mean, when I was a kid, my mom went to the A&P. Everything you bought your groceries home in a paper bag. They didn't start doing plastic bags probably, I don't know, till like the late 70s or the 80s. Because I remember that. That was a very, we'd go into, you had the fold up bags, and you'd bring your bags home and then fold them up, and then you could use them again or put your leaves in them or recycle them. Notice that many mass shooters wear camo. So what? So we're not gonna ban guns. We're gonna ban camo. That's good. That's really good. You can't dress like this. That yeah. That sounds like something a politician might actually suggest. It's let's see now. Let's see. 82% of the shootings that happened in America today were by guys wearing camo. So therefore, we will ban camo, and that will solve the problem. Yeah, there are a lot of places that are banning plastic bags or making them harder to get, or you have to pay for them and whatever. Yeah, which I think is a good thing, I guess, because they do clog up, streams and stuff. I do that. I go out hiking a lot. And you look and see a lot of. You go out to like a pond or something, and the whole corner of the pond is plastic crap. I've seen that a number of times. I love plastic bags from grocery stores. I use them for trash bags. I do the same thing. I like to, I take my plastic bags and if I have to throw up, I have a nice bag to throw up in. Yeah. I use them for the dog too, to clean up the dog poop. Sometimes we don't have enough of those little doggy poop bags. I'll just get a Walmart bag or something. And, they're actually better bags. They're actually better constructed than some of those doggy poop bags. Here's the thing I love to see, and it's insane. People that bag their dog's poop and then just throw the bag in the woods. I've seen that so many times. First off, if the dog's going to poop in the woods, just let it there because it will decompose, right? It will. After it rains a few times, it'll all go away or it'll be washed into the ground. Nature takes care of it. But no, your dog poops in the woods, you put it in a bag, and then you throw the bag in the woods, and then it sits in there non-decomposing inside a plastic bag that will not decompose. So it just sits there in the woods. I think that is the most insane thing, but I don't know how many times I've seen that. It is insane. What is the deal with that? I'm going to put my dog's poop in a bag and then throw the bag in the woods. And there it is sitting there for years, your dog poop in a plastic bag in the woods. The problem with plastic water bottles is making sure they are composed of materials that don't leach contaminants in your water. Exactly. There's another thing that's probably going to go away too, plastic water bottles. I don't know how many times you go to the store and buy some of those plastic water bottles, and then you take a drink of it and it tastes like plastic. I've done that many times. There's certain brands. I've talked to a number of people that say there are certain brands of bottled water that they will just not drink, because and then you throw those plastic bottles in the woods or something, and they last for, I don't know, a lot. You'll go in the woods and go back in the woods, and you see a lot of trash back in there. A lot of it is plastic bottles. Air raid or fire drill. You are right in that it's insane that they just don't let the poop decompose naturally. Well, I can understand not wanting your doggy poop in somebody's lawn where kids are going to run around and step in it and stuff like that. But if your dog poops in a woods, it's an area that's kind of natural already. The raccoons are pooping there. The squirrels are pooping there. So let the dog poop there. I don't know. You look at some of these van guys, what do? They go back, they park near a woods, right? And then they got to go poop in the middle of the night, and they go out into the little, with a little shovel and dig a little hole and poop in it and cover it over, right? I mean, that's natural, right? What's so wrong with that, Dave, I can't hold it back any longer. Your channel is really unlike most YouTubers that live in a fantasy bubble. And if it ever gets popped, it's a crumbling down to pieces they go. Long duck dong. Earl Valentine, when I lived in Kentucky, the fast food restaurants added a road tax on the to-go food because the wrappers and cups end up at the side of the road. Huh. I've never heard of that. They actually add a road tax because there's to pick up the litter, huh? That's interesting. But it doesn't have to be delivering food. I mean, you can just that can be anywhere, but any kind of wrapping stuff there. It's interesting. That's interesting. Carolyn's RV life. She was just up in not Alaska, British Columbia, and she went to a grocery store, and she showed you the receipt, and the receipt had a tax, like sales tax, but it also had environmental taxes on it. I noticed that, and I've never seen that in America. But I think Canada's now doing that, where you buy groceries and they look at what you bought, and if you're buying something like plastic bottles that are usually found in litter all along the road, they actually have taxes that are on certain products that call for the cleanup. So, plastic bottles, straws, plastic bags, certain things that seem to be in the litter along the roads, I think they're now putting environmental taxes, but you see that environment is like an environmental tax of a couple of dollars according to what she bought. So I think that's certainly something that we'll probably see come to the States one of these days too. A camo tax. I'm gonna tax your camo. A Speedo tax. All clothes should be camo design. Disposable plastic diapers. Ah, yes. That's something that probably should go away too, right? I mean, I was talking to some guy that talks about recycling, and people think that they can put their plastic diapers, the Pampers or whatever, in the recycling bins, but they can't. They've got soiled waste in them. They can't go be recycled. They have to go to the landfill. But that's another thing. In the old days when we were babies, your mom had cloth diapers, and yes, it was stinky and dirty, but they washed them and they reused them. And that certainly was a more environmentally friendly way of dealing with it, So I don't know. That's a good thing. Another thing that could very well go away pretty soon are the plastic panty diapers. Oh yeah. And then, of course, as all us folks get old, the adult diapers, they have camo everything. You can buy a camo couch and camo recliners, camo mattresses, camo tux already, right, Spamma Mike? Yeah, there's a lot of camo out there. It's very popular. Mattresses, camo tux already, right, Spamma Mike? Yeah, there's a lot of camo out there. It's very popular. Prohibition on cannabis will be going away. Yeah, I know that's obvious. Yeah, laws against growing it, laws against selling it legally. Places like Colorado, places like even here in DC, it's legal for most personal uses. Yeah, I think that's very true. I think it's very true. Certain antibiotics, they're probably going to be going away because they're causing, they're not good for the environment either. They're causing certain drug resistant types of things and antibiotics. You're going to see a big change in medical things, I think, too. The doctor. We've already seen like the private practice already pretty much going away, right? I mean, very many times now ah. Okay. Call you back. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Judy. Thank you. Ow, super chat. Anybody wants to throw a couple bucks my way to I will talk to you later. Anyway, anybody wants to throw a couple bucks my way, I appreciate it. Super chat. Judy Parsons, $2. Appreciate it. Now what was I saying? Doctors. Yeah, doctors, private practice doctors are probably going to be going away pretty soon if they're not already completely gone. So you go to, they'll be just like, you go to a doc in a box or you go to like a, I have an HMO, you go there and you get whatever doctor they give you. So anyway, that's cool. Yeah. That's Adam the Woo calling. It was. How did you know that? So anyway, that's cool. Yeah. That's Adam the Woo calling. It was. How did you know that? Yes, it is. Somebody sent me this. This is really cool. Yeah, I got my phone and I did a review of it on my Dave Hughes channel, which is what you're watching now. And they sent me along a very nice case for it. It's a cheapo ZTE phone. It's being monitored by the Chinese. Everything I text on here, that's going straight to Beijing, but I don't care. But anyway, yeah, this was really cool. I forget who sent that to me. I do not remember now, but it was very cool. Very cool. So that's what's, all righty, folks. So today's news and views, we're talking about things that are going away in our modern day society. Everything from paper, from plastic straws and plastic bags to banks. Probably the walk-in, the actual standalone bank will probably be going away. Cash is probably going away. Broadcast television is probably going away. Yeah, a lot of free things are going away. A lot of stuff that you watch, free television, you put up an antenna, that's probably going away. It's a camo booty call. California and Florida will soon disappear underwater. Well, Florida could. I think, Florida, what is the highest point in Florida? Something like, 85 feet above sea level? That is very true. If we have global warming, there's a lot of places that are going to go away. Florida, Delaware, a good part of the East Coast, parts of Long Island, parts of South Jersey. California, some of the coastal areas will probably go away, but they got some big mountains out there. I don't know, but there's a lot of things are changing, right? What's up, David Hughes? Mom and pop stores, very true. Locally owned radio stations have pretty much gone away. It used to be in the 70s, you turned on your radio dial and there were locally owned stations. Locally owned newspapers are gone. These big corporations, hedge funds, Warren Buffett, they own a lot of local papers now. All the local papers in Virginia are owned by these big hedge fundy corporations. There's almost nowhere you can go in my state, at least that I know of, that it's a locally owned newspaper. Locally owned papers, locally owned radio stations are all gone. You tune in your radio dial no matter where you live, and all those radio stations are owned by giant corporations, Entercom, iHeart, Cumulus. All your stations, very rarely do you go even, especially in a large market, there's anything local. I think some of your national public radio stations are owned by universities and stuff, local universities, but they plug into the national network. So, local radio is gone. Local TV is gone. And they still do local newscasts, but those stations aren't locally owned. Almost nothing is locally owned anymore. Everybody's owned by some giant corporation or a network. And that's kind of sad, but that's true, so that's gone away. Locally owned grocery stores, the mom and pop stores of just about any type, they're all gone these days. Everywhere you shop, the grocery stores here, they have giant food here in the DC area. It's owned by a Dutch company. And then there's another, grocery store like Aldi and Lidl and Trader Joe's are all owned by German companies. And, everybody's owned by, you go to Delaware now and they have all the chicken producing plants and they're all owned by the Chinese, So yeah, it's everything local. So there's a good thing that's going away, locally owned, whatever, Son or whatever. They're owned by, a lot of products in your car, a lot of parts in your car are made in China. Okay, a lot of the electronics that go into your cars are made in China. And that's all going to be taxed heavily, tariffed heavily, because Donald Trump wants to protect jobs in America. Although they don't make many cars here. I mean, there are some plants here that assemble cars like Tennessee and stuff. But, for the most part, cars are, the parts and everything comes from China or somewhere like that. And they said the prices of cars in the next couple of years are going to go up $3,000 to $5,000. And television sets, you can walk into Best Buy right now and buy a television set, a fairly good set for $300 or $400, right? Nice big screen, fancy schmancy set. That could be $600 or $700 next year, simply because the tariffs that China's going to be put on those things. And again, is that a good thing? Is that right? You're going to be paying more for televisions and pretty much a lot of appliances that have any connection at all to China. Anything, phones, they do a lot of electronics there. They, you may buy an American branded oven, but it has a board in it with all these Chinese circuits in it, that came from China. That oven will cost more. So you're going to see an across the board increase in a lot of things. Yeah, I don't know. And now, is that going to bring more jobs here? Are they going to be making more cars in America? Are they going to be making more ovens or what? I don't know, man. I just think it's going to be less money for you in the long run. Hey, Mark Fun Jones. Would you do this? Go to camodave@gmx.com and shoot me your address again. I know the street, but I can't remember the number anymore. Should I announce it right here? It's 123 Mark Fun Jones Lane. I remember the name of the street, but I can't remember the number and the zip code. So send me your address to camodave@gmx.com, and I will happily put a sticker in the mail to you tomorrow, okay? Appreciate it. I keep forgetting. Yeah, I'll give you your Camo Club sticker. I'll send you a couple of them. But yeah, do send me that. And what are you going to send me? Are you going to send me something? No. Oh, look at it. It's raining again. We have gotten 6 to 7 inches. There's another big story this week. Lots of heavy rain for the East Coast. A huge river of storms has just been plowing up the East Coast, and places like North and South Carolina, Virginia, D.C., central Pennsylvania has got really hit, parts of New Jersey, New York State, all the way up into Canada have just been hitting torrential rain just coming through. And tonight, I think, is another round that started right now, and it's going to go on for, I think, till tomorrow morning. And then hopefully by Thursday, maybe Thursday midday, things will start slacking off. But it has been a lot of rain. They had some trees fall here in the Northern Virginia area over the last few days. It killed a lady that was just sitting there watching television in her house. And yeah, there's been, I can see a lot of evidence of road flooding. When you drive down some of the back roads, you'll see areas that look like they've been partially washed away. But it's really crazy because July, you don't think of July as being a heavy rain month like this. I mean, you'll get little short thunder boomers, but not weeks long full of rain like this. So that's a crazy thing. And then the other funny thing is, and it's not funny, but it's true, the West Coast now has fires and it's hot and dry. And it is true. You have the West Coast here and the East Coast here, and then the steering currents. So what they're now doing is bringing all the super duper wet air from the south into, I don't know, it's weird how that all works, but it's all very often true that the East will be cold and chilly and wet, and the West will be hot and dry. So yeah, they're having fires now out throughout the West California, a lot of places like that. I think over 50 people were killed in some fires in Greece over the last couple of days. So there's some really nasty stuff. You're either too wet or you're too dry. There's kind of there are too few places in between. Outlaw fallen trees that kill. That's a good. Dave needs a parrot so he has something to talk back to him. Trump said, "We will make America great again. Don't worry, Dave." Oh, man. Oh, man. The weather has been so bad, it blew the roof off a tobacco warehouse in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. I made a video about it. Oh, my word, I'll have to watch that. The East Coast weather in late summer is dominated by the Atlantic currents and the Bermuda high. It is yeah, you're right, Bubba. You're right. And it depends on where the positioning of that high pressure is. It's up close to the coast, you get hot, dry, drought weather, and if it's positioned out closer to Bermuda, it would be weather from the tropics. That's very true. And so it's just and yes, and this is the kind of weather where hurricanes will track up the coast, right? Because the high pressure is out to sea, and now you get those hurricanes that form, and kind of weather where hurricanes will track up the coast, right? Because the high pressure is out to sea, and now you get those hurricanes that form, and they come right up over the East Coast and Florida. Remember that one year, a couple years ago, Florida had like 4 hurricanes in like a week? Remember that? They all kind of zipped around. I don't know. We may have something like that happening again this year. I don't know. I haven't heard too much about hurricanes yet, but it's not usually till September, usually, that you start really having to worry about them here on the East Coast. September and October. Mary Kay Katz in Central Virginia. So glad I already got the basement fixed. I would be getting water up. Yeah. But a lot of flooded basements, I'm sure, all over the place on the East Coast today. Absolutely. It's rather heavy rain coming down there right now. Man. All righty, folks. Let's see here. We're almost doing an hour. An hour is long enough for me today. I do appreciate everybody who's been here. We did a couple of failed tries there at the beginning. Anyway, we're seeing how things go with this. Dave Hughes, news and reviews. I think we had not a lot of people here today. There's Cringy. Cringy's here. I do appreciate everybody who stopped by and said hello and chatted with us. Appreciate it all very much. Yeah, there's a lot of news to talk about. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I'm wondering whether I should do these. I'm wondering whether I should do these in the evenings. But then again, we have more competition from other people and stuff like that. But let me know what you think. Send me your comments to camodave@gmx.com. I appreciate that. Camo Dave's gonna make YouTube great again. Damn it! I am the Donald Trump of YouTube. Damn it! I need to get that funny orange hair. Someone send me I need to get that funny orange hair. Get someone send me a Donald Trump wig. No, don't. That's a joke. That's a joke. Anyone here ever heard of the huge electrical antenna system that the Russians are working on 50 years ago that can cause bad weather? Now, one of my favorite, there's some really cool over-the-horizon radars. That was one of the things the Russians were working at. And back in the 60s and stuff, 70s, they built these big towers, a bunch of towers all together. They're in like the Ukraine and places like that. And then they abandoned them. They totally abandoned them. And then a lot of explorers go there and climb up the towers. And I've seen some really cool things. God, what's the name? God, I can't think of the name of some of them. They gave them some nicknames. The something or other. It's like the buzzer. It's like if you ever listened to shortwave radio back in the 70s, you would tune a frequency and you hear this buzzer. Zzz, sounded like a buzzer going off. That was the Russians' over-the-horizon radar, and somehow they could detect whether missiles were coming over the horizon from, I don't know, I guess we were sending them. I don't know. They don't need that anymore now with all the satellites and everything, but those old towers are still standing, and yes, they're rusting out, and a number of YouTubers do go over there and climb them, which is cool. Start naming hurricanes after politicians who deny climate change. Yeah, Michelle Bachmann. That's a good idea. I didn't think of that one, right? Hurricane Orrin Hatch. Oh, there was a funny one. Orrin Hatch is. That's a good idea. I didn't think of that one, right? Hurricane Orrin Hatch. Oh, there was a funny one. Orrin Hatch is a senator from Utah, right? And there was like a whole bunch of rumors that he had passed away. And some senator from Utah, right? And there was like a whole bunch of rumors that he had passed away. And some Google thing actually called that said he had been dead a year. It was one of, I don't know what some news thing, and Orrin Hatch died a year ago, and he was tweeting this morning. Well, it's nice to be back. People do that too on Wikipedia. There's ways he was tweeting this morning. Well, it's nice to be back. People do that too on Wikipedia. There's ways of editing Wikipedia. They let people go in and make changes to it, and they'll post nasty stuff. I've seen that happen quite a few times. Like local radio personalities, they'll have a Wikipedia entry about some guy on your local radio station. People will go in there. The Lincolnshire poacher. That was another one. Yeah, I've heard of that too. There's some stuff in England too about that, right? The British were doing some of that in over the horizon radar, and they have some weird stations there, right? So yes. Oh yes. So I like that stuff. I haven't watched it in quite a while. What happened to my chia pet? I did have a Donald Trump head chia pet. Way back when it never grew. I put the chia gunk all over its head and it never grew. And I ended up throwing it away when I moved. What am I going to take it with me? I think I made a mistake. I used a bowl. There was a bowl that I had some soapy concoction in, and I used that bowl to mix the chia crap up in. And I think I probably did something bad there because the seeds never grew. So I'm saying, it was like a soap dishy thing that I was using. I don't know. So maybe it was my fault. I don't know, but it never grew. Yes, that was one of the sites near the Chernobyl thing, the buzzer thing. You would hear that on shortwave radio. It's like sounds like a buzzer. Harp. That's another one, right? HARP. Right, Time Chaser. Hey, everybody knows a lot about that. Weather is the most important, most talked about subject on the planet. Well, I guess it affects everybody, doesn't it? Weather. The number stations, that was another one. Yeah, you would be on your shortwave radio and you just hear numbers. 7, 12, 6. Sometimes they'd be in Spanish, ocho, siete. Typewriters. Who uses a typewriter? You can't buy it. I'm sure there's a website out there that sells typewriters for all the crazy people that want to still buy them. But they're pretty much gone, right? Who needs a typewriter? You've got a screen. Why do you want to punch, 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 punch? But there's probably somebody who thinks, some writers probably think I can write better when you're hitting this, I don't know. And I'm sure there are some vintage typewriter repair people out there. So nothing ever completely goes away. Vinyl records, all that stuff is still around in one way or another. I remember it from my Art Bell. Oh, Art Bell, there's somebody who went away, Mr. Bell. Yeah. The 180 harp array is spread across a 40-acre site. Conspiracy theorists are abuzz about the news, given that harp of wild speculation what the program is designed to control. Yeah. I don't know. They control the weather. Maybe it does that too. Maybe they send these weird waves into the air and it makes things rain or something. I don't know. They used to do that. Didn't they do that? And they used to seed the clouds. They were talking about places where there were droughts. They could put some sort of ice crystals in the clouds and make it snow or rain. Have to go to the pub tonight. Custom weather. There you go. Change the climates, right? You could make it rain in the Sahara. And imagine if you could make the Sahara wet, how many more people could live there? I mean, you would have a huge population in northern Africa if you could, you can imagine that. Can you imagine Southern California if all the deserts suddenly could sprout crops and stuff? I don't know. This is so stupid, writes Diana Castro. Stupid. Anyway, what time is it? Okay, 4:13 here on the East Coast. 33 people watching. I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate it. I've had a good time here today. We'll see where things go. I'm sorry, Diana Castro, if you think it's stupid. I'm sorry. No one's forcing you to watch. Go watch Lou. There you go. Well, then you could do that. You could have branding of storm. Well, yeah, this following the Coca-Cola hurricane. I don't think a company would sponsor something that destroys things. The Coca-Cola snowstorm or the Mazda hurricane. I don't know. That probably wouldn't work. This tornado was brought to you by Jiffy Lube. 22 hours and 17 minutes to David Muir. Well, yeah, if you're on the East Coast. All righty, folks. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, Dave. News and Views for the 25th of July, 2018. Don't forget, Christmas is only 5 months away. Better start getting your shopping done. Get those Christmas lights up. It's going to come like that. It's going to be fast. The Christmas shopping season, Labor Day, that's the start of it, right? Better buy those TV sets before the Chinese tariffs come into effect and they start costing a lot more. Does David Muir do a live stream? I have no idea. I do not know. That would be interesting, though. I don't know. Thank you for watching. Yeah, Bubba, right. Bubba said he worked for a TV station. I think the ABC affiliate in Raleigh, isn't that owned by ABC? ABC owns a bunch of stations directly. And in the big markets, New York, Philly, San Francisco, LA, all the stations are over the networks. Then, but yeah, some of the smaller cities, they own some stations too. I think so. So yeah, Bubba worked for ABC. Ooh. All righty, folks. You have a great rest of your Wednesday, and don't forget Saturday morning at 9:30. Tune in for Saturday with me, and I'll be talking about bottoming YouTube stuff. And don't forget tomorrow night, Thirsty Thursday with my good buddy Blind Views. Yes, we're going to merge our channels, Blind Dave or Camo Lonnie. I don't know. We're not really going to do that, but it would be fun. We ought to get together and do a co-production of some sort. I think that would be really cool. We'll I don't know. We'll figure something out, but I think that would be really fun. You know, merging YouTube. You see where all the media companies are merging with each other. Maybe we can merge YouTube channels. I think that would be really cool. You know, maybe I don't know. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Adam the Woo pairing up with, who could he pair up with? Black Bigot. Wouldn't that be an interesting, the Adam the Woo Black Bigot channel? You know, or we could have Carpetbagger and Chad the Swedes mixing it up together, you know, actually producing content together. That would be cool. That might be a really cool thing. I don't know. Chat over. Yeah. Craig has to go and feed the doggies. All right, folks, everybody, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Vlog or stream Silencio.